Okay, shall we move on to perhaps the sugar? Sugar's you've already mentioned sugar once, but perhaps we can start with Ishmael and, you know.
Well, this is the sugar cane that we grow back home. We cultivate it, the sugar cane, and when it grows and the sugar cane is ripe, coming up to June and July, where it's ready to ripen, the small farmers have a small mill and a boiling house where they boil the sugar. They have the cow or the mule that pull the mill around in a circle while the man is here feeding the cane into the machine. And it extracts the juice from the cane and it go down into the boiling house, into a copper. And that boil and boil until it produces sugar, the raw sugar. And when it boils, they take it out, put it into another copper, leave it to cool, and they tin it up in tins and take it to the market and sell it. And not only sugar, we get vinegar from that material that skim off the sugar while it's boiling, and they put it separately and throw it into if you know those brick jar, if that's the right name for it, these jars that make out of clay, and they cork it tight and leave it there for a long time, and it turns into vinegar, which will be the dark vinegar.
You see, this cane, as Ishmael tell you about, it's sweet, you can eat it, you can peel it, not this, it's old, but you can peel it and you can eat it. But this cane, even though it's sweet, it was bitter to work with. The slaves who working it for 24 hours a day nearly, and the big sugar mills would grind it out, and you not only get sugar from it, you get rum, you get molasses, you get and the trash that comes from it, they use it for making paper. So it has a lot of different use, but the people who used to work it was doing it for nothing, because during those slave days, they needed more and more slaves to cultivate the sugar, because the sugar was Britain gold. Britain, as I told you before, Britain was the only country that had sugar, even though Britain never planted sugar in England, none in the United Kingdom. They control all the sugar. Tate and Lyle, all the big houses. That's why Parliament wouldn't vote for the abolition of slavery, because they know where the money was coming from. And they know that as long as the sugar was going, they would talk shop in the House of Lords, because most of those lords were slave owners. Most of the big millionaires in this country started out from slaves.